we're back in the workshop, or really my back porch, uh, and I've had this hammerhead here for at least a year's time. I've polished the faces of it at some point, but I've never gone through and actually made a handle for this hammer. Hopefully, if you're seeing this bit right now, I'll have some better editing, maybe an actual intro, or maybe just a thumbnail. That's probably what I'll end up doing. But let's go over my lathe setup real quick. This is a UOKRR wood lathe off of Amazon. It's one of those drop shipped Chinese ones that are probably all the same, or mostly the same. But that's not important. You'll see that there's a chuck on here, not necessary for this this operation. You could just have two centers to turn between. I got a piece of, I believe this is ash that I'll be turning this out of. So what I'll do is I'll grip on to this end with the chuck, and then live center will go into this end. I'll turn down just enough to where I can then flip it, put the other end in here so it has a better grab than just trying to pinch down on the four corners, and then turn the rest of the profile of the handle. I'm a machinist by trade, CNC machinist by trade. However, I am on CNC machines that are cutting steel. I've been on this lathe for maybe 10, 20 hours max. So I'm still learning how to turn wood by hand. So if you see me doing something dangerous or something stupid, don't do that. This is just how I do it. This is how I've made it work. Hopefully you can learn something. Something we'll have to keep in mind while we're turning this piece of wood here for this hammerhead is the dimensions that I turn these things down to really don't matter. They're going to be down to preference, just mostly about what fits in my hand the most comfortably to me. The only real critical thing is that we get this eye made to size. Now, this is an oval shape, and obviously I'm not going to have a round handle. That wouldn't be very comfortable to swing. So what I'll do is I'll turn the outside diameter of the bit that's actually going to go into the eye to this larger side of this oval. And then I'll go in with files or saws and whatnot to even that out. And then the same thing with the haft of the handle, which hopefully I'll show that process too later on. But that's just something to keep in mind. These are for roughing my material out and getting it consistent, and then I'll go in and clean up the rest of it. All right. My tools for this, I'll be using just this gouge shape here. I've got a little ceramic rod. I'm just going to take that and kind of run it over the edge here. This just helps it cut cleaner. It's a little sharpened before I get to it. If I get to those daggers today, then I'll make a video on that, ideally. I'll probably do that again. This gouge is what I use primarily for this. For finding our hammer eye size we got to cut to, I've got a pair of dividers here. This is an inside pair of dividers. What I'll do is I'll just bring this down into that. That's about as tight as it'll go on there, huh? But I'll use this to get a rough feel for what that wood needs to be, or for the pega that's going in here. That makes sense, right? And then what I can take is this pair of outside dividers. This might make sense later, but I'm going to use this to kind of set my dividers to roughly where they need to be. And I want there to be a decent amount of pressure to fit this handle into there, because that wood will get crushed into that handle, helping the fit. That's part of the fit for it. So this is already a little oversized, and then this is brought just to it. So hopefully you can see that. I'll be using that to measure my wood whenever it gets down to that size. The rest of it, I'm just eyeballing it, right? It's not going to be complex. Don't overthink it at all. And you know what? I actually left my Chuck key. Great. I'm going to go grab that. All right, I got that Chuck key. Also, White Monster, you want to... if you want to give me a little sponsorship, let me know, dude. Sorry, Mr. White Monster. All right. If there's any other machinists out there watching, I'm sure if y'all went through trade school, you know how hard they griped about not leaving your Chuck key in your chuck, especially if you're doing a manual. Yeah, I haven't been on too many engine lathes out in the field, unsurprisingly. But, just make sure you don't walk away with it in there. I've marked the center line on this piece already. Ooh. There we go. Then get that boy nice in there. Yeah. Appreciate all of the nice comments that so many people left me. Friends and family being supportive. Really, really do appreciate that. Made me smile the whole day. All right, let's hope this wind. I know the camera's shaking a little bit, so I apologize, but hopefully it's not too obnoxious for you to watch, make you motion sick. So right now I'm just making sure I can get nice and close to the support here. Lock it down. And she spins free. Now what I'm going to do, I'm about to flip this thing on. Something I always do with this thing. I've had it jump out of me once. Obviously not terribly, but, fell out with the jump out. Because I didn't have the tailstock tight on there. So I'm going to step aside. There we go. Now she's spinning. Time for me to get shavings everywhere. Having a rigid setup really makes this a whole lot easier. These daggers that I turn for my Etsy shop, they're a lot longer. So often, and it's just an issue, this lathe bed isn't long enough for this. Ideally, this thing's like half sticking off. Probably not the safest thing, but I need to get a bed extension. That might help with it, or it might not. But this is a whole lot easier to do, and you might see that if you watch my video on the daggers as well. But like this takes a whole lot longer to do just because it's vibrating so much. But whenever this thing's spinning, you might be able to see it on the video, but I can see it a whole lot better. I can really see when it's starting to get all these flat spots are starting to go away on it. Obviously more to go. Just something I might comment on. I'm not going to worry too much about the finish on this. I don't know why modern handles on everything are so smooth. For me, it's just, I don't know. Like, obviously you don't want splinters on it, but some of them are polished smooth, and it's like, you're trying to hold on to this thing, and the friction is what helps you, keep onto it when you're swinging it. And what's going to hurt your hands more than a sort of rough surface is whenever you're trying to fight that thing, and you'll get blisters easier from a smooth surface you're getting sweaty on and slipping all around. Not what you want. Come on. There we go. The trick I saw for getting things close to the center line and concentricity as you can is to kind of chase these back and forth, applying pressure here, tightening down over here, and so on. Of course, the face of this isn't clean, and that's going to throw it off, or not throw it off, but not make it as center as it could be. That being said, I've changed the setup. I flip it around. I'm stepping off to the side. We look good. So now we're going to be turning back a lot of material. Speed this up, please, me. One nice part about it being in Oklahoma and it being windy, it's cleaning my workstation for me. You seeing all this fly everywhere? I don't have to brush it off and worry about it that much. Something I noticed is my vibrated too much. Pushed my tailstock out of its thing. This live center wasn't being very live. Hopefully I'll fix that. Looks like it. Alright, I've moved off a lot of material. I'm going to move my stand in, my tool rest, just a little bit. So that way I'm not having my tool hang out so far on it. It's kind of odd. It seems like this end's softer, or it might just be the angle I'm going at. I don't know. Obviously a lot more neat to take off this thing, but this end that's going to be my head, it's starting to get closer to my size. So again, I can visually see this is nowhere big or nowhere small enough for it, but taking this, it does not fit over that piece of wood there. So I know I've got quite a bit more to take off. We're getting pretty darn close to it. I think that might be just kind of bringing it for a visual side by side here. I'll take another pass on it. That should be good. Now it's the rest of the handle. So my handles, like a lot of different shapes on them, so that way I can get different holds. I like there to be pretty thin up here, close to the head, where the head's going to be, and then bulge out just a little bit about midway, sweep in, and then flare out again. And you'll kind of see what that looks like. So, might be getting a better idea by now. So, you can grip up here and have a lot of control, but also be able to get further down on it and have it not slide out of my hand if I'm having to really put some force into it. Now I'm going to go ahead and mark some spots on here. I know I want that to basically be the... do I want it right there, actually? Yeah, I want that to be to where if I'm choking up on it, that's the high point right there, the high center point of it. And then I want it to really flare out to the end of it, but there's going to be some that's held on to in there. We're not worrying about that. I want it to really start getting fat. Say right there. So between these 2 points, I want it to sweep in. That pencil makes a really good visual for me to work between. So that's actually getting pretty close to the thin size that I want. I think everything is going to have to go down by about 1/2 inch. Thereabout. And total diameter, anyways. Still recording. Kick ass. Let's see. Yeah. Down right there. That's about what I want. So I'm just going to go through and try to blend in everything together real well. Best I can. So we're good on the head of this thing. That's nice. Flared out. I'll probably just end up sawing that bit off, then rounding it over. I think we're about finished with this, so I'm going to go ahead and pop it out of our stock. It's going to kind of be what it's roughly like then. You can imagine that. So now what I'm going to do is I will go into the actual workshop, get this thing in a vise, get some flats on there, or some round it off and make it oval so it fits into here, haft it, and then we'll actually put the flats on it to where it will be a better hammer and won't twist in my hand every time I hit something. All right, in the garage, the actual workshop now. Please excuse this very messy. It's all messy. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's messy everywhere in here, but you might be able to see if it wants to focus. Perfect. I kind of I traced out the eye onto the head of it here, and I'm just going to take this big old file here and rough it to it. Right, I'm not going to worry about it being pretty. So hopefully I can get this on camera halfway decent. This isn't the ideal, not the ideal vise. And I don't really care if it gets all gummed up. This is a hammer I'm going to be using well. So how does that look? Awful for you, I bet. What if I hit it with one of these? I said with one of these. Down low. Twist it over. This vise setup I have is a little sketchy. It's very wobbly, like finger. But I can put my foot on it and lean against it. Hopefully you'll be able to see. Pretty close to our size. upside down. That's how I want it. Yeah. Not great. Got overwent on some of it, but I think it's enough to where I can start trying to work it on, which a lot of people have seen this trick by now, but you know. See? It's getting on there. Slowly she's getting on there. Very nice. Feels pretty good in the hand already. I do need to put flats on it still, but we are getting there. I'm going to keep on beating on this thing until this is sticking out at the top a little bit. And then for wedges, I've used nails. I've used forged nails. I'll probably just use a piece of sheet steel, cut to the size, and then hammered into it. I'll take a picture or a little video of what that looks like. I'm going to keep on finishing this thing, put the flats on it. I'll give you a video of the finished or close to finished product. I think you can kind of get the idea. This is how I'm going to do this. You know, and like right now, somewhat usable in this state. Just took me 1.5 years to actually get around to putting the handle on it. Alright, jump ahead a little bit here. I got the thing halved it all the way. I ended up cutting off a portion of it because I started to split it because I was being stupid. Beating on it too hard. Here I've got the excess cut relatively flush, and then just a wedge of mild steel that's sitting around on the floor. Hammered it into there. Now it's on there. As far as the profile goes, kind of see that it's got some flats on it now, which makes it a whole lot nicer in the hand. It won't twist on me whenever I'm hammered with it. It's got some more places to go. It's still pretty fat up here, but I might as well show you myself kind of cleaning up that bit. And the other spots that are still fat on. This rasp, so nice. Really take off a lot of material at once with it. And I've got a nice sweep on it now. But this is pretty rough. I'm going to knock the corner off of the bottom here. Then I'll probably just take some sandpaper, like 100 grit sandpaper. I have some right here. This is actually probably 40. But I'm just going to go over the whole thing with that. We'll knock off the corners on the bottom. And then we will take some linseed oil and give it a nice coat. I'll probably end up using some food grade stuff. That's what I've switched to anymore. Just because I like to touch my face a lot. I'm sure once it's dried and polymerized that it's fine, but safe and sorry, it doesn't stink as bad. As far as how good this is on there, it might be kind of difficult to say, but the head is like kicked like that. Not the worst thing ever. Might even be helpful in some things. I just got to keep mind of it. But I'd say that's done right there. More or less. Like I said, we'll knock the corner off of this. I'll oil it, let it dry. Now I actually have a useful hammer. If this video is helpful to you in any way, please, let me know. If you have any questions, comment them below. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like and subscribe, amigo. No. If this is helpful, let me know. Like the video, leave a comment. If you want to see more of this, let me know. If there's something specific you want to see, let me know. You know what I'm saying? If you like my work, you can check me out on Facebook or Etsy. I'll link those in the description. Yeah. Thanks.